Hey everyone, Thornton Smash here, resident Apex Predator, and today I'm here to talk to you about the upcoming Wattson, Mirage, Rampart, Octane, and Pathfinder buffs that look to be coming in Season 7. Before we continue, if you enjoy the content, please drop a like and subscribe as I come out with Apex content on the daily, and it really helps me to continue to do so. So let's dive into the most shocking legend we have first. Wattson is one legend that continues to polarize Apex Legends. This legend was added to Respawn's Battle Royale back in Season 2, and since then she has struggled to compete against the game's most popular picks, such as Pathfinder and Wraith. Fortunately, it looks like Respawn could be giving Wattson a helping hand in Season 7. Many Apex Legends fans have been wondering whether Wattson will ever see a buff in the future, but a recent developer update discussion on Reddit has shed some light. I'm thinking Wattson here. She was always strong, but mostly played competitively only. This certainly rings true for many of the game's new additions. It's often a coin flip between releasing a highly overpowered legend that needs to receive a steady wave of nerfs or releasing a weaker legend that requires a few buffs. It's a job that requires tremendous amounts of meticulous planning and fine-tuning to get right, says Respawn game designer Daniel Klein. Of course, it can be difficult to get this balance correct, and some legends need a little more attention than others. However, when asked whether Wattson would be receiving the buff, Respawn stated, "I can't say anything because I don't want to spoil the patch notes, but let's say I concur with your analysis that she's been particularly useful only in high skill and could do with a little more power low skill. One would have to find a way to give her targeted power. Overall, she is seen as more of a defensive type legend with only specific scenarios in which her abilities put her at an advantage. Other players typically have no issues going around or destroying the nodes she places. Gaps like these put Wattson at a greater disadvantage in casual play." The next legend needing an overhaul, and I mean massive overhaul, is Rampart. Overall, she is seen as more of a defensive type legend, much like Wattson. A lot of players, myself included, feel that Rampart just doesn't mesh well with the other legends, and her abilities have a lot to be desired. Daniel Klein in the same Reddit thread said, in regards to Rampart and Mirage, "Both of those are in. Keep an eye out for the patch notes. I don't want to spoil stuff before." Some have suggested that she should be able to hold her minigun like a heavy weapon, but with a small movement penalty. That way, she's going to be a little less vulnerable and it would fix the issue. The next legend up on our list is the always talkative Mirage. His abilities, which largely revolve around the use of decoys, prove largely ineffective on experienced players. And so Respawn's been hard at work trying to find ways of buffing his powers without turning them into a right pain in the ass to deal with. Daniel Klein said, "Decoys firing blanks is the nuclear option. I have no doubt that it would be effective and powerful, but the amount of damage it would do to combat readability and just sheer confusion scares me. I'm trying something different for Season 7. Let's see how it goes." You can expect some kind of buff from Mirage. It should be a notable one as he is a fan favorite legend, but not nearly as useful in the game as some of his counterparts. Pathfinder also looks to be getting a buff this season. Thank the Apex gods. As a Pathfinder main, I have been tearing my hair out. We did get a buff for him in Season 6, however it came with an awesome shoulder glitch, and sliding after a grapple really didn't help as most grapples would end up being 35 seconds anyways. Responding to fan questions on Reddit, Klein confirmed that Pathfinder's cooldown is in the works. This patch, he said, responding to a question about changes to the cooldown. To be clear, that's the Season 7 patch coming soon. The fact they added Bloodhound and Crypto the ability to also scan beacons poured salt in the wound even more. Here's hoping they update his passive along with continuing to tinker with the grapple. And the last legend of the season is Octane. Octane is also confirmed to be getting some positive treatment, but Respawn says it will only be a tiny buff, so no indication exactly of what it will be yet. Klein had to say, "Octane's got a very high pick rate, a lot of people play him, and also a very high encounter win rate. He wins individual engagements a lot." Before revealing why the popular character needed a small buff, it's just his trio's win rate that's low, he shared, suggesting that they were happy with his current state. That's kind of okay. He's a selfish, charge-in, guns-blazing character who's a ton of fun to play, but also eventually gets himself killed. He will also steal your loot looking at you, Solo Octane, who just took my fucking purple. So that's the news we can be looking forward to in regards to the new legends this season, and who will be getting buffs. As the patch notes release, I'll be sure to keep making a video going over them, so do stay tuned for that. As always, Legends, keep slaying in the Outlands.